Non-stop shelling in Ukraine and loss of life and property, there is some hope of truce between the two nations now. Reports have suggested that Ukraine and Russia have made a 15-point peace plan. It includes a ceasefire, withdrawal of Russian troops if Ukraine declares neutrality and will not join the NATO. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that the country has succeeded in the Ukraine operation. Putin also said that Russia has no plans to occupy Ukraine and that the operation was done for self-defense. The remarks come shortly after International Court of Justice slammed Russia in its ruling. The ICJ said that Russia should suspend all the military operations and also ensure that any military or armed unit supported by it take no further steps to continue. The order passed will have binding effect and invokes international legal obligations of the state. The court has further asked both the nations to refrain from any action that may escalate the situation. Reacting to the ICJ verdict, Ukraine President Zelensky said that Ukraine has gained complete victory in court, adding that if Russia fails to comply, it will isolate itself further.
All American ports should be closed for Russian goods. Peace is more important than income, and we have to defend this principle in the whole world. We already became part of the anti-war coalition, a big anti-war coalition that unites many countries, dozens of countries, those who reacted to, in principle, to President Putin's decision to invade our country. But we need to move on and do more. We need to create new tools to respond quickly and stop the war, the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine. We've proposed that the United States sanctions all politicians in the Russian Federation who remain in their offices and do not cut ties with those who are responsible for the aggression against Ukraine. From State Duma's members to the last official who has lack of morale to break the state terror. All American companies must leave Russia from their market, leave their market immediately, because it is flooded with our blood. Ukraine is grateful to the United States for its overwhelming support, for everything that your government and your people have done for us, for weapons and ammunition, for training, for finances, for leadership in the free world, which helps us to pressure the aggressor economically. I'm grateful to President Biden for his personal involvement, for his sincere commitment to the defense of Ukraine and democracy all over the world. I am grateful to you for the resolution which recognizes all those who commit crimes against Ukraine, against the Ukrainian people as war criminals. However, now, it is true, in the darkest time for our country, for the whole Europe, I call on you to do more. New packages of sanctions are needed constantly, every week, until the Russian military machine stops.
After 3 weeks of waging war, Ukraine and Russia are finally on negotiation table. After 4 rounds of inconclusive talks, the two nations have now come down to a 15-point peace plan. Will the delegations from both the nations end up brokering truce? Here's a report.
After 21 days of raging war, there is some hope for truce. Russia and Ukraine are finally in a mood to negotiate. After 4 inconclusive rounds of talks, the 5th one seemed to be a step in the direction of peace. Russia and Ukraine are now trying to chalk out a compromise formula, including neutrality status for Ukraine as one of the options. Under neutral status, Ukraine would become part of European Union, but not NATO, like Austria and Sweden. Kremlin has given the green signal to this option.
Он сейчас, по большому счету, он сейчас всерьез обсуждается в увязке, конечно же, с гарантиями безопасности. Это ровно то, что вот президент Путин говорил в феврале на одной из своих пресс-конференций. Любые возможные варианты, любые общеприемлемые.
Kyiv, however, has ruled out the Russian proposal. Ukraine wants a legally binding security pact signed by international partners. Ukrainian and Russian delegations have come up with the 15-point tentative peace plan. It lists the issue that needs to be resolved before a compromise. These include Ukraine declaring neutrality, limiting the Ukrainian armed forces, renouncing Kyiv's ambitions to join NATO, and prohibiting Ukraine from hosting foreign military bases in exchange of security. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has claimed the talks are heading in the right direction.
Це важливо. Складно, але важливо, тому що будь-яка війна завершується угодою. Зустрічі тривають. Як мені доповідають, позиції на переговорах звучать вже реалістичніше. Проте ще необхідний час, щоб рішення були в інтересах саме України.
While talks are going on, Russia's relentless bombing of Ukraine continues. The question everyone is asking now is, how soon can the two warring nations reach an agreement? Bureau Report, India Today.
After 21 days of ferocious Russia-Ukraine war, there is now hope for a truce that is being seen. This after Ukrainian President Zelensky acknowledged that Ukraine will not become a NATO member. Ukraine's bid to get NATO membership was the heart of the crisis. Zelensky also said that he sees room for compromise and ongoing talks with Russia. On the other hand, Kremlin has shown signs of willingness to engage in negotiations. Take a look at this report.
Millions have fled their homes. Hundreds have lost their lives. Ukraine has suffered an unprecedented human tragedy in the face of the Russian invasion. Now, after 21 days of fighting, there is hope of a truce. The man who is leading the war against mighty Vladimir Putin, Ukrainian President Zelensky says he sees room for compromise in talks with Russia. This comes as Moscow has stepped up bombardment of Kyiv, targeting even residential areas.
І працювати кожному на своєму місці, кожному, в тому числі нашим представникам, нашій делегації у переговорах з Російською Федерацією. Це важливо. Складно, але важливо, тому що будь-яка війна завершується угодою. Зустрічі тривають. Як мені доповідають, позиції на переговорах звучать вже реалістичніше. Проте ще необхідний час, щоб рішення були в інтересах саме України.
The main provocation for the war was Ukraine's bid to get membership of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Zelensky has said Ukraine will not become a member of NATO.
Зрозуміло, що Україна не є членом.
We realize that Ukraine will not become a member of NATO. We understand this. We are adequate people. Kyiv needs new formats of interaction with the West and separate security guarantees.
Я радий, що наш народ починає це розуміти.
Earlier, Russia's foreign minister had said Moscow does not aim to overthrow the Kyiv government and it hopes to achieve significant progress through talks. Zelensky has climbed down and is no longer interested in NATO membership. Kremlin has shown signs of willingness to engage in negotiations. With both nations making climb down, diplomacy, it seems, will succeed in ending the war that has cost both nations heavily. Bureau Report, India Today.